Hi, and welcome to Terribly Fun Films. I'm your host, Bobby, and we are continuing with the Dragon Con Countdown. I'm real excited for the next 3 reviews, this one included, because we're looking at the main cast of Starship Troopers. That's right. Casper Van Dien, Patrick Muldoon, and Dina Meyer are going to be there. I'm psychotically excited. Starship Troopers is one of my favorite movies of all time. Casper Van Dien is one of my favorite actors of all time. This is going to be awesome. And as I promised you in my Istro Terror review, we would be back in the Dragon Con Countdown with a Sci-Fi Channel movie I liked more. Today's movie is it. Project VIPER stars Patrick Muldoon. It's a Sci-Fi Channel film from 2002. It is pretty kick-ass. Let's see why. Project VIPER starts off in space with us following the shuttle Olympus on a mission from Earth to Mars to deliver the titular Project VIPER onto the Mars surface, wherein it is going to terraform Mars into a habitable place for humanity. VIPER itself is a mixture of bioengineering and robotic microchip engineering. During the flight, though, something goes wrong. VIPER ends up killing all the astronauts, and the space shuttle is then left aimlessly wandering in space. Back on Earth, somebody breaks in to a NASA facility and steals the prototype of Project VIPER, and that person is then killed in the ensuing chase. So VIPER gets out in a small town and starts causing havoc. It is up to the I'll say government enforcer Mike Connors and the lead scientist Nancy Burnham to figure out how to stop VIPER and why it's sticking around to the town, where it could be fleeing town, going anywhere else, that sort of thing. The script by Curtis Joseph and David Mason does hit some familiar beats, especially in terms of being a Sci-Fi Channel film. Like, there's the moment where it's revealed as an inside job, but the good characters think it's a different good character and not the person who's actually doing it. Then there's the big reveal of who actually is controlling it all. Things like that, which are kind of old hat. Like, we're still dealing with this sort of trope. Like, I just watched Seal Patrol the other day, and it has things like that in there. And the dialogue's occasionally exposition heavy. And I don't mean like it's poorly written or anything. It just feels like it's exposition heavy, and I feel like there might have been a better way of more naturally delivering some of that information to the audience. With that being said, though, the actual plot is fairly original. The creature, for lack of a better term of what it is, the monster, I don't know what to call it, of VIPER, is very original, very well handled, and the movie's one-liners are really good, really clever, and I would say the vast majority of the characters are smarter than in your typical movie like this. And that really does feel refreshing. It gives the movie high rewatchability just for that alone. The movie was directed by Jay Andrews. Jay Andrews is just a pseudonym for Jim Warnowski. I don't know the story, the reason behind him using that alias for this particular film, but what I do know is Jim Warnowski is still working. He's working on a film called Cobra Gator right now. Has been working since the early 80s and has probably directed over 19 trillion films by this point in his career. He is a B-movie god, and his direction here, for the most part, doesn't fail. The opening, I shouldn't say opening, because that's not how the film opens, but the beginning heist of the prototype being taken doesn't totally work. It's oddly edited at times, and the context for it is missing, so it doesn't make that much sense. Outside of that sequence, though, I think the film is really well done and really exciting in terms of its action scenes and that sort of thing. There's one really cool shot with Patrick Muldoon, a prison lock, and C4. That's a lot of fun. And the movie also moves very quickly. It's about 90 minutes long, and you'd probably say it was only an hour. It just keeps moving and moving and moving and moving. It's very action heavy, never really slows down, which is kind of awesome, because all the action scenes are well done. They are exciting, they're interesting, that sort of thing. The best thing about the movie, though, are the special effects, specifically for the VIPER. Special effects supervisors Kyle Toucher and John Alderus and their team did a really good job there. The VIPER still looks pretty damn cool. It is this sort of gunmetal gray liquid. It's a metallic liquid that can then take form of sort of tentacles and wrap itself around. Think sort of T-1000 liquid metal form, only it's never taking the shape of a human. I guess that's the way to describe it. It looks really cool. I liked how it interacted with engines, how it interacted with the people it's killing. Yeah, very well integrated into the scenes. And given what it is, it actually, the low budget special effects actually don't do it a disservice, because it doesn't need to look 100% real. It needs to look science fiction-y. It needs to look odd and engineered and that sort of thing. And I think they pulled that off really well. This creature is awesome. It has this weird shaped thing, sort of like a xenomorph, but flailing out like that, but concave. And then they've got these appendages that are more like tentacly things going around. And somebody's attacking it, it'll simply dissolve part of that, and it'll fall like water, because it is a liquid of sorts, and then come back up. That was really cool. To see how it reacts to the EMPs was really cool. It just instantly disperses, like throwing a huge rock into water and watching it splash up, and the ripple effects from that. So that was really neat. I loved this creature. I loved how it moved. I really liked everything about it. Definitely worth watching just for the originality put into it, and for the visual effects that still, for the most part, work this many years later. Neil Acree's score is probably the worst aspect of the film. There are times where it's definitely too bombastic and overpowering the images and the action happening on screen. Then there are times where it's hoping to keep up and hoping to serve the more dramatic sequences, but it doesn't totally work. Basically, because the movie's so quick, I think the score is trying to keep up with everything happening, and it just can't. It feels like the score was rushed, like the composer had not seen the entire movie by the point he had to finish it. Editing by Craig Kitson is pretty good. The action scenes are all very exciting and fun and engaging, things like that. So that's awesome. Cinematography by Mario Diala. Average. It looks like it's a made-for-TV movie. The lighting, the camera blocking, the shots, all look like made for TV. There's nothing in terms of the look and the vibe of the film that raises above that. It's just so energetic and just keeps moving in terms of action and pace and all that, that it overcomes that in other ways. Playing the government agent in charge of tracking and destroying the VIPER, Mike Connors, is Patrick Muldoon, and he's good here. He delivers a reliable and strong performance that is very fun, and again, here's why he's a really good leading man for movies like these. He doesn't get to let loose quite as much as he does something like Ice Fighters, where he's shockingly hilarious. But he does real well in the action scenes. His chemistry with his co-stars is really good, and he's very believable in the role, which is what it requires. Teresa Russell is Dr. Nancy Burnham, the scientist leading the project that formed VIPER, and with the help of the government and NASA launched into space to go terraform Mars. And she's good. She has moments, especially I'd say in the action scenes, where she's not totally believable, but when spouting off the science mumbo jumbo that they probably made up for the film, and when having to explain things to the characters who are not scientists, she's believable there. Character actor Curtis Armstrong. If you don't know who that is, look him up. I promise you've seen him in 19 different things in just the last week. Has a small role as the ambulance chasing lawyer Keach, and he's very funny in his small role. Again, it's probably less than 10 minutes of screen time altogether, but he gets some big laughs. He is a lot of fun, and this is just that kind of character you can probably play in his sleep by now. Playing the sheriff of the town that VIPER is terrorizing is frickin' Tim Thomerson. Yeah, that's right. Frickin' Jack Dollman Death is in this movie, and it's so much fun watching him. It is kind of fun to watch him play a more normal human character. He's not a time-traveling neo-noir cop. He's not a tiny alien. He's not a gruff commander like Zone Troopers and things like that. He's not a mad scientist. He's just an everyday sheriff who does not believe what's going on in his town, even when the scientists do come clean with him. He literally arrests them thinking they're making it up, trying to cover up what it is they're actually doing. And he's delightful. Maybe it's just my love of Tim Thomerson, I'm not sure, but he is a lot of fun. Playing the Deputy Ferguson is Eric James Bigerit. He has some amusing moments, some good one-liners. His comedic timing is fairly good, but it feels like he's overacting and trying too hard at moments, to where he's maybe not the best fit, but I wouldn't say he was bad, if that makes sense. The rest of the team of scientists trying to solve this problem is Simpkins, is played by John Beck, and he's good. I feel like it's a perfectly okay, 100% average performance. He doesn't really stand out to me at all, even later in the film when certain things happen. But he's not bad. He Gets there, he reads his line, okay enough, then he went home, he collected the paycheck. Tamara Davies plays Sid Bream, and she's pretty good. There's a sort of what kicks off the third act of the film is the reveal that she figures out, she uncovers certain things. I think she handles that really well. That is her only real moment to shine. But given how she handles that, she does a very good job. She does an okay job the rest of the movie, but you know, she is probably one of the characters spitting out the most exposition and the most sciencey mumbo jumbo things. So take what you can get there, you know. Lydia Denier is Diane Cafferty, whose role as Diane Cafferty is kind of small, but whose role in the film overall is fairly high, and she's killed, I don't know, 6 to 8 minutes within the movie. But a bad guy looking just like her is taking her place and is the one stealing the prototype in the beginning of the movie. So people are confused because they think she's dead. She does a good job there. I think she plays the evil side of things fairly well. You know, she doesn't have a ton of dialogue, so it's mostly just action scenes. And again, this movie's strong suit, action scenes. Syfy Channel's Project VIPER is a really solid example of a Syfy Channel movie. Its action scenes, great. And I love the creature. I love the design of Viper. I love the special effects of Viper. And the whole movie is worth watching just for that creature. With believable, sciencey words, a solid cast that moves very, very quickly. Thank you for watching. As always, I've been your host, Bobby, and I will see you next time.